I thought I was right all the time. I followed the script perfectly. Study hard, get the scholarship, graduate first class, and land the job at the only Fortune 500 company in Malaysia. So my next task is to get promoted fast enough to be financially free. But I was actually wrong. That's not how the game is played. If I want to get to financial freedom, I thought I was building a fortress. But when I looked in the mirror, I realized I was just building a cage with gold bars. In this video, I'm going to show you why your safe salary is actually the most expensive way to exist, and how I'm shifting from a first-class worker to a level 10 architect. Chapter 1: The First-Class Mirage. In Malaysia, we are raised on a dream. The good university dream, the stable job dream. By 2022, I had achieved it. Mechanical engineering, first class honors, 4,000 ringgit a month. I felt successful. I lived on 2,200. I saved more than 1,000 every single month. I was doing everything right. But right is a perspective. And my perspective was limited to the ground I was standing on. I didn't see the horizon. I only saw the next paycheck. Chapter 2: The 41-year sentence. Then I did the math. I have a goal to achieve 500,000 ringgit by age 30. If I save 1,000 a month, I need 500 months, which is more than 41 years. I would be 64 years old before I even reached my starting line. This isn't a wealth strategy. It is a life sentence. While I was trading at least 8 hours of my life every day for a fixed sum, the world was moving faster than me. Last year, my coffee was 550 ringgit. Today, it is 6. That's a 9% increase in 12 months. If the system is printing money and prices are rising by 9%, but my savings are just sitting there, I'm not saving. I'm leaking. I was playing defense in a game where the winners only play offense. Chapter 3: The Capital Bottleneck and the Life Tax. Then I thought the solution was simple. If I wasn't moving fast enough, I just needed to double down, work harder, get that promotion, take a second job, grind. But I was wrong. Because even if I hit my 500,000 goal in 20 years instead of 41, what is the cost of those 20 years? I realized I wasn't just trading my time. I was paying a life tax. Every extra hour at the office is an hour I'll never have with my family. Every weekend spent grinding is a memory I'll never make. My life was becoming a single-purpose machine to earn. No relaxation, no joy, no presence. I asked myself, is it really freedom if you have to kill your spirit to buy it? Then I thought again, maybe investment is the way out. I looked at the math of my investments. Stocks. A 10% return. On paper, it looks great. But 10% of a small salary is still small capital. Compounding is a miracle, but it requires a threshold. If you are the only engine feeding your capital, if every dollar you invest has to be bled out of your paycheck, you are the bottleneck. I was trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon, and I was using my own life as the water. And the mirror showed me the true danger: fragility. My entire map was built on one single dot: my salary. I was playing a game of perfect conditions. I was assuming life would always be smooth. No sickness, no layoffs, no economic crashes. But if that one salary dot dies, the whole system burns. My stocks stop growing, my savings stop building, my structure collapses. I was required to hold my breath for 20 years just to survive. I didn't need a bigger teaspoon. I needed a pipe. I didn't need to work harder. I needed to architect better. And that's when I realized investing won't work either. That's when the desperation hit, and I went looking for a different way out. I took the courses, I studied the wealthy, and I found the one note that changes the physics of wealth: leverage. Chapter 4: The Construction of the Bridge. Most people view debt as a cage, something to fear, something to avoid at all costs. But in the geometry of wealth, debt is a node. It is the engine of speed. There's a massive difference between consumption debt and construction debt. Consumption debt is the car loan, the credit card debt. The debt that takes money out of your pocket is a leak. But construction debt is a tool used to acquire a growth asset. The bank looks at my 4K salary in the largest company in the country. They don't see a trap. They see stability. Because of that, they are willing to give me a cheap loan at 3.7% interest. This is the moment I stopped being a saver and started being an architect. I used that opportunity to acquire a 500,000 rental property with 0% down payment. I don't use my own blood, sweat, and tears for that capital. I use the bank's money. And here is the magic. I'm not the one paying it back. The tenant is. The rental income covers the monthly repayment. Suddenly, my hard-earned money, that thousand I was struggling to save, is still mine. It stays in my pocket. While at the same time, I control a $500,000 asset that I didn't have to work 41 years to buy. But the bridge doesn't stop there. Fast forward 10 years. In an inflationary world, the value of the property has risen, but the value of the debt has stayed the same. I can refinance. I can cash out the growth and use that new capital to acquire even more assets. I am opening up massive opportunities using only my paycheck as the key. I didn't have to double my work hours. I didn't have to take a second job. I didn't have to trade 20 more years of my life. I realized my salary isn't my safety. It is my collateral. It is the security the bank needs so I can use their money to build my freedom. I am no longer the engine. I am the architect of the system. Chapter 5. Becoming the Architect. After years of searching for the exit, I eventually realized that wealth isn't a single event. It's a structure. I started sketching it out, connecting the dots until I created this. The wealth loop. Look at how the system actually works. Most people stop at the first node, salary income. They take their paycheck and they go straight to consumption. But in this loop, income is just the fuel. We use it to build a credit score and an emergency fund with credit card. Why? Because a credit card is the best way to understand your spending behavior. And credit score is the key that unlocks the leveraging box. With a good credit score, we unlock the cheap loan node. We aren't borrowing to buy a lifestyle. We are borrowing to acquire growth assets, cash flow assets, or rental property. The return on the asset is higher than the cost of the borrowing. The asset produces rental income that flows back into your primary income node, making the system self-sustaining. Suddenly, your assets are producing the capital that feeds your growth, and you are no longer the only engine. This is not a math problem, it's a perspective problem. If you only see your job as a way to pay bills, you are stuck at level 1. You are the battery for someone else's machine. But if you see your job as a way to access leverage, you have reached level 10. You are using the stability of the system to build your own sovereignty. The wealthy stay rich because they own the structure. They don't work for money. They manage the flow of capital. They borrow at 3% to capture growth at 8%. They aren't trying to beat the system. They are capturing the spread between the dots. At this moment only I understand that they aren't working harder. They are just architecting better. Final truth, the money mirror. Of course, at this moment, I'm still at my workplace. I'm still walking this path. But the mirror has changed. I've stopped trying to save my way to freedom. I'm no longer using my life to pay off my past. I'm using leverage to build my future. The mirror never lies. The question is, are you still running on the treadmill or are you ready to build your bridge?